For our applying unit rates worksheet, we are going to complete these problems below using the strategy that is listed. Then on the back, you're going to tell me which strategy you liked better. Do you like using the unit rate charts or do you like using the proportional reasoning? So we're going to go ahead and try these problems out. So the printer can make 15 copies in 3 minutes. How many can it make in 5 minutes? This one's already been set up for us, so you can see we're talking about copies and minutes. So it makes 15 copies in 3 minutes. Then we want to know how many can it make in 1 minute. And then once we know how many it can make in 1, then we're looking for how many it can make in 5. So we set up what we know. We want to know 1, then we want to know 5, and we need to make sure we have labels here. So we're going to start and we're going to ask ourselves, how do I get from 3 to 1? Well, we divide, sorry, my computer's going crazy. We divide by 3. So we need to do the same thing up here, right? What we do to the numerator, we do to the denominator. So 15 divided by 3 is 5. Now we ask, how do I get from 1 to 5? And we times by 5. So I'm going to do the same thing here. So we're going to do 5 times 5 and put our answer there. And that's how many copies the printer can make in 5 minutes. So how do I get to 1? How do I get to 5? Our next problem says Stephen ran 3 miles in 27 minutes. At that rate, how long will it take him to run 7 miles? So this one has the start of it, and then we've got to finish it. So we have minutes and miles, and we can't just put M and M, or we won't know which is which. We had to do a little more of a label that time. So we have minutes on top, 27 minutes for 3 miles. And we're trying to see how long it's going to take him to run 7 miles. So we're going to put 7 all the way over here at the end. We're trying to get to 7, but before we can get to 7, we need to know 1. So we're going to ask ourselves, how do we get from 3 to 1 here? And that is to, again, divide by 3. So we're going to take 27 and divide by 3. So 27 divided by 3 is 9. And now we're saying, how do I get from 1 to 7? We're timesing by 7. 1 times 7 is 7. So we're going to take 9 and times it by 7. So 9 times 7. And then you're going to put your answer. And that's how many minutes it's going to take them to run 7 miles. So each one, we're just going to the 1 and then to what we need. Okay, our last unit rate strategy says it took 6 hours to drive 420 miles. At that rate, how far can you drive in 9 hours? So looking here, we have 6 hours and 420 miles. That's how we need to start our chart. So we need to start with labels. So we can see we have hours and we have miles. It doesn't matter which one you put on top. It just matters that every time you're talking about that thing, it gets in the right row. So we put hours on top. So every time we're talking about hours, we want to make sure it's on the top. And every time we're talking about miles, we need to make sure it's on the bottom. So it doesn't matter top or bottom, but you need to make sure they match the correct label. That's why we put the labels. So we have 6 hours. So we have hours on top. So 6 is on top. And that took us 420 miles. So miles is on the bottom. And at that rate, we're looking how far we can drive in 9 hours. So this is what we're looking for. We're going to put that all the way at the end. They're hours. We have hours on top. So we're putting 9 on the top at the very end. And then in between, to get from 6 to 9, we're going to go to the 1. So this time we actually ended up with the 1 on top, and that's okay. We're going to do the same thing and then do it to the bottom. So we're thinking, how do I get from 6 to 1? And we need to divide, oh, not by 3. We've got in the habit of dividing by 3 on those other problems. Divide by 6. So 6 divided by 6 is 1. So now we're going to do the same thing down here, and we're going to divide by 6. So if you don't know 420, it really is like 42 with a 0. So we can do that out to the side here, 420 divided by 6. So it can't go into 4. but it goes into 42 7 times exactly. But it's not just 7. We have that 0 at the end. 6 goes into 0, 0 times. So in 1 hour, they're driving 70 miles. So now to get from 1 to 9, we times by 9. So we're going to do 70 times 9. So out to the side, go ahead and do 70 times 9 and get your answer to see how many miles they will drive in 9 hours. So that's our unit rate strategy. Every time we're going to the 1 and then to what we need, making sure that everything is matched up in the right row. So now we're going to try the proportion strategy. And it's pretty much the same thing. We have labels. We have what we started with, but we're not going to go to the 1. We're going to skip right to what we want to know. So 48 books fit in 6 boxes. At that rate, how many books fit in 8 boxes? So this one's set up for us. We have labels. We have books and boxes. And again, we can't just put B and B or we won't know which one is which. So we have books and boxes. 48 books, 6 boxes, right? 48 books, 6 boxes. At that rate, how many books fit in 8 boxes? So 8's on the bottom with boxes. So this time, there's not a great way to get from 6 to 8. I don't know it just off the top of my head. It's not a nice multiple or factor of each other. So we're going to crisscross times here. We're going to do 48 times 8. So make sure you're doing this on your paper. You can do it on the back. You can do it out to the side. And so 8 times 8 is 64. 8 times 4 is 32 plus 6 is 38. So we're at 384. But now we need to divide by 6. Now this only works because there's this equal sign here. So we're just taking this 8 and instead of dividing by 8, we're bringing it over here and we're doing the opposite, which is times by 8. So, oh, there it popped up. Sorry, it should be in slow. So we're just rewriting our problem. We're bringing the 8 to the other side, but if we do that, we have to do the opposite of it. So now we have to, this one's all alone, right? We're dividing by 6. So we're taking 384 and dividing by 6. So 6 can't go into 3, but it goes into 38 6 times, which is 36. 2's left over, bring down the 4. So 6 goes into 24 4 times. So our answer is 64. So in every box, they're fitting 8 books. So if they have 8 boxes, 8 times 8 is 64. So we're just crisscross timesing, right? We're bringing this over here and then dividing. Okay, let's try this problem about Jenna. Jenna received $36 for mowing 3 lawns. At that rate, how much will she earn for 5 lawns? So we need our label. So it has 36 on the top, so that is money. I put a money sign. And 3 is lawns, so I'm going to put an L for lawns. And we're trying to find out how much for 5 lawns. We have lawns on the bottom, so 5 has to go on the bottom. So again, it doesn't matter if you put money or lawns on the top, it just matters that you match up. So lawns, these are 3 lawns, these are 5 lawns, they should all be in a row. So there's not a nice way to get from 3 to 5. So we're going to multiply here because we're moving this 5 to the other side, and instead of dividing by 5, we have to do the opposite and times by 5. So we're doing 36 times 5. Make sure you do that out to the side or on the back. 6 times 5 is 30. 3 times 5 is 15, plus 3 is 180. But now we have to divide that whole thing by 3. So we're doing 180 divided by 3. So 3 can't go into 1, but it goes into 18 6 times. Bring down our 0. 3 goes into 0, 0 times. So when he mows or she mows 5 lawns, she will make $60. Okay, our last problem here. We have 6 movie tickets that cost $72 at that rate. How much do 4 tickets cost? We need to start with our labels. So the things we have are movie tickets and money. So I'm going to put T for tickets, so I don't get it confused for M, money. And I'm going to put a money sign. So we have tickets and money. And I have tickets on top. We have 6 tickets for $72. And I'm trying to find out how much 4 tickets cost, and that's going to go on the top because that's where we put tickets. So we're bringing this 4 to the other side here. So we're going to times 72 and 4. So make sure you are doing 72. I want my pen right. Okay, hold on. There we go. I had my eraser on. That's why I wouldn't write. So 72 times 4. So that's just the ones that are diagonal. Those are the ones we're multiplying. So 4 times 2 is 8, and 4 times 7 is 28. So we have $288. But now we're taking this one that's all alone and we're dividing it by 6. So we need something above those 3 numbers. So 6 can't go into 2, but it goes into 28. 4 times is 24. 4 is left over. Bring down the 8. 6 goes into 48 8 times. So if they only buy 4 tickets, that's going to cost them $48. So you get to decide, tell me on the back which one you like better. Do you like taking it to the 1 and then using the 1? Or do you like setting it up and just using your proportion strategy and diagonal multiply and divide by the other number? Which one do you like better and why?